Greetings, conversation community. Greetings to you. It is yet another glorious day in the year 2023. We are excited to be in October. This is the month where we really feel the fall come in. This is the month where we call it to be the harvest and October fest, and the time that you would gather your harvest and gather those things in which have been planted and you've allowed and have seen for them to grow. So I want to encourage you that in this season and in this month, that it is harvest gathering time. So whatever you've been planting, good, and hopefully it's all been good. But whatever you've been planting, we want you to know to go out and grab it out there. Hey, listen, we always want to give a shout out to Bishop Maynard and Dr. Mary T. and to Pastor Jerry for their love and their support. We continue to celebrate Dr. Mary T. and Pastor and Bishop Jerry L. Maynard for their 30th pastoral anniversary, and celebrating Pastor Jerry Maynard in such a great job as the co-chair of that wonderful celebration and services that took place. So many people are still talking about him. So many people's lives were reached via social media platforms as well as in person. And so we want to thank you so much for all that you have done to contribute to that, to make sure that they know that we love them and we will continue to love them. Listen, I'm so pumped up. This, I will just be transparent, is a recording, but I wanted to make sure that I left you with something on Sunday morning. I don't ever want to miss the opportunity to reach out to you. And so I hope that you would stick with me on this. I used this topic a little while ago. It's been probably a couple years ago, but I also wanted to go back and revisit this. And it is stop whining, you're a winner. Stop whining, you're a winner. And I want to talk to you about the top 10 distinctions between winners and whiners. We went through this with Keith Cameron Smith, who is the author. And so I just want to go back and revisit this and then shed just a little bit more light on this, and for you to take notes, because we've been talking about we win. And when we win, we do have to watch our conversation. We have to watch our posture, and we have to watch our positioning. We have to ensure that what we release out of our mouth is coming from a victorious place, not a victim's place, but a victorious place. We need to make sure that our conversations that conquer the enemy, not those that give way to the enemy. We want to make sure that we are talking about winning attitudes. We're talking about winning opportunities, and that we're not allowing for opportunities just to pass us by. So we're going to go to the top 10 distinctions between winners and whiners, given to us by Keith Cameron Smith, the author. But we'll add a few things to it just to make sure that we stay on track. So let's go to the first, number 10 and number 9. Okay. Winners take responsibility. Whiners play the victim. Let me just stop right there. I told you all before, and I'm going to say this again. Learn to own whatever it is that you have made. Whatever decision you made, and it may not have been the best decision, but it's your decision. It may not have been the best move to make, but it's your move that you made. And given the circumstances or information that you have, when you learn to say, hey, listen, I may not have made the best decision during that time period, and I may not have made the best move, but I made a move and I made a decision. And so I'm going to take responsibility for it. And I learned something in the midst of my decision making. Even if it turned out wrong, at least I did it. And I made a decision, and I've learned from it. And because I can learn from it, listen to this, I can grow from it. And a lot of times the reason why we don't want to admit that we made a mistake, because we feel like admitting that maybe we didn't make the best decision is admitting that we're wrong. And admitting that we're wrong, let me just tell you what that really means, is that we're not right. And so many times our ego tells us that we have to be right all the time. But you have to understand something. You're not going to be right all the time. With the Lord's help, we'll be right most of the time. But we're not going to be right all the time. But whenever we do wrong, let's take responsibility for it. Because whiners play the victim. It ain't my fault. I don't know why they did this. It's not me. I didn't do this. I wasn't trying to do this. Or you hide and play hide and go seek. Whiners play hide and go seek. When you are a chosen child of God, when you have been called into the kingdom of God, when you have been called and chosen by God, then you're not always playing hide and go seek. You're standing up for what it is that you have done to cause any damage. And you're saying, hey, listen, it was about, this is on me. Sometimes I know when we have like situations in relationships, and it can be platonic, romantic, it could be vocational, it could be ministerial. But when you have like, a disagreement, and a lot of times people say, well, it was his fault, it was her fault, or it was his fault and it wasn't his fault. I always feel like there's a role that each person plays in the scenario. And I am one who I would say, listen, this happened and it did. I learned something from it. I'm moving on. Yes, they did something, but I probably did some things too. And so I'll own what I did, but I'm going to, keep it moving. And so you have to learn to own it. I'm not saying that I'm the standard, but what I am saying to you, when you are a chosen vessel, when you have been bought with a price, you have to know that you can take responsibility and you can keep it moving. Number 9, winners can have what they want, but whiners want what they cannot have. And you all know this because we live by faith, and winners live by faith. So we can call things into existence. We can call things, we can say things, we can believe the things that we don't see, that we can still yet have it, because we know that we have it by faith. So we know that we can have it. God gives us all opportunities, as I stated before. We have the opportunity to grow. We have the opportunity to scale. We have the opportunity to be successful. We have the opportunity to be victorious. Winners not only have the opportunities, but they seize the opportunities and they make something out of it. Yes, the door was closed, but that doesn't mean that I can't go to the next door and open it. And so that's what a winner does. A winner actually says, I know I can have it. It may seem difficult, but I serve a God who can handle difficulties. Greater is he that's in me than anything else that's in this world. So when I'm a winner, guess what? I can have what I want. Go to this next one. I tell you what, I done got excited already. So distinction number 8, winners find a way. Whiners find an excuse. Let me step back real quick on this one. So many times we ask people like, why does this person seem to always achieve? And this person over here may seem like they always underachieve. And the reason is right here. Distinction number 8 is so key, because when you believe in winning, when you believe in getting it done and getting it done right, you will find a way to get it done. That really, to me, is the difference between successful people and non-successful people. Successful people will pivot. Successful people will keep throwing, as we say, mud to the wall and something will stick. Successful people will keep going at it, chipping away at it until you get to the place where you want to be. Whiners, they'll say, well, you know what? They didn't call me. You know what? I was going to go over there, but I didn't have gas. I was going to go over there, but I didn't have this. I was going to go over there, but I didn't have that. They didn't like me. They racist or they discriminating, or, it's always something. It's always a reason why you can't achieve. You can't move forward. While all along, somebody on the other side of you is just chucking away. Are they a sellout? No, they're not a sellout. They found a way. When you're a winner, when you're a God winner, place that there. When you're a God winner, you will allow for God to make the way. He says, I am the way, the truth, and the light. I am it, right? So if God is the way, then God is going to make sure that his winners are the way. He's not going to call us out of the darkness into the marvelous light and then blind us so we can't see where we're going. He's going to allow for our faith to navigate us in those areas that we cannot see. And the places that we can see, he'll order our steps so that we can arrive at. So God winners are going to lean into him so that we can find a way. So if you are always making up excuses why you have never made it, you're always making up excuses why you had never achieved it, you may want to check. Are you a God winner? Or are you just a whiner? I'm going to move on. Distinction number 7. Whiners brighten the room by entering. This one's good. Whiners brighten the room by leaving. Winners brighten the room by entering. Whiners brighten the room by leaving. And make sure I say it again because I thought I may have messed it up. Winners brighten a room by entering, and whiners brighten a room by leaving. Let me just tell you this. People always would say these little cliches, and they say, you want people to say, "I'm so glad to see you." You don't want people to say, "Oh, I'm so glad that they gone." And if we are not careful, we will be that. And I was sharing with someone today. We were talking about one a minister, and not talking against them, but just having a discussion because they felt like they had been mistreated, and this person who does not claim to be a Pentecostal per person or a church going person. I've never really heard them talk about this. But they said, I really pray for him because I just would love to see him happy. It seems like he's always miserable. It seems like he's always, talking negative. And I said, where my prayer is, because he's carrying the gospel, he's carrying the cloth. He's saying, I'm a minister. I'm someone who's out there. Seem like you ought to be happy. Seem like you ought to be, we go through a lot. Let me just tell you, we go through a lot. I go through a lot. So I understand that life comes at you, but life should not always be bad every time. So when you come on the scene, people don't want you there because they know you're going to bring the mood down. Folk ought to be like, oh my God, here comes, and put your name there. And then know they're going to brighten up the room, right? People talk about me all the time. You're always smiling. It's not that I'm always smiling, but you know what? I just know that it takes as much energy to frown as it does to smile. So I choose to smile. Do I have bad days? Yes, I do. Do I have challenges? You better believe it. Do things always go my way? No way. Okay. But I do know that as much energy as I can put into being happy, being peaceful, being full of joy, is what I believe that a God winner looks like. So I want to brighten the room by entering it. Y'all think about that. Do they clap when you come? Or they clap when you get ready to go? If it is, just fix it. Just fix it. Just fix it. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Let's go to the next two. Okay, number 6. Winners listen twice as much as they talk. Whiners talk twice as much as they listen. Now, I want to pick this one up because we hear about that. A soft answer turns away wrath. We hear about that. We hear about, how we speak. Be careful because your words are spirit and they are life. When you are a winner, and I'm just tell you this, can I have a transparent moment? Let me just take this transparent moment. I used to always just want to be right. So like I would always have the last word, or, I would talk because I just wanted to be right. I'm just being transparent. I wanted to be right. As I've gotten older and more mature, sometimes I know that I'm right. I know that I have the right answer, but I'm like, I'm not arguing with nobody. I'm going to sit here and listen. You go right ahead and be just as wrong as you want to be. I'm going to, because I understand that if I, if I'm always talking, that's using energy. I'm trying to save my energy for good stuff. I'm saving my energy is an investment into my life. And if I waste it on just talking, just aimlessly talking, that has no end point, that has no gain, I don't want to talk. When you are speaking, you should be listening and looking for the gain. I'm going to say it again. When you are speaking, you should be listening and looking for the gain, because your words, their spirit, their life, they're seeds that you're planting. And as I release them from my lips, I want to make sure that they are gaining ground for my life. I don't want them to just out there speaking life and death, this and the power of your tongue. I'm speaking life. And how I speak life is by listening to what someone else is saying. Besides which, when you listen to people and you actually hear what they're saying, you can help them better. You can be a better friend, a better person when you listen. Sometimes we miss stuff because we're talking too much. Pick up number 5. Winners enjoy life's journey, but whiners put their joy in the destinations. And I tell you what, this one is really key too, because when you understand that life is just life, you lifing. That's what they saying nowadays. Life be lifing. You understand that as a winner, you just enjoy it. You enjoy the trip, you enjoy the time, and it's not going to always be good. Sometimes you're going to have those mountaintop experiences, and sometimes you're going to have some valley lows. Sometimes you're going to go through some deserts, and sometimes you're going to go to palatial places. There's going to be oases. But all of that's a part of life. You're going to meet great people, good people, okay people, bad people. But that's a part of life. You learn. If I can't drop anything else to you today, please hear me when I say this. Learn life's lessons. It's worth it. Learn the lesson out of whatever's going on in that event, and then keep it moving. Keep it moving so you can move toward what God has just for you. But whiners, they just like get to a destination, like, okay, woo, 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 and then keep on going. Like, and a lot of times they want to stay. You all remember the disciples in the Bible? When Jesus was healing and he was just laying hands on everybody, and people, and the crowd was just pressing in, and I add my little flavor here, and they probably was calling, Peter, hey John, what's up? Hey Matthew, yeah, I see you out there with Jesus. I see y'all laying hands on the sick and the healed, and everybody's recovering. I know, I see you. And so they was loving the press, right? They was loving the attention. And Jesus like, look, I must needs go to Samaria. They're like, what? We don't want to go. And he was like, no, I must needs go to Samaria because I'm about this life journey. I'm not about this destination. That's what I'm trying to say to you. Don't get stuck somewhere that God hasn't planted you. You got to keep it moving, because I'm telling you now, what God has for you is for you. And for you to win, you got to get to where God wants you to be. Let's move it on. Number 4, the 3 and 4. Starting with 4. Winners build friendship. Whiners destroy friendships. Let me just say this to you. I got a few folks I've dropped this with, I've dropped this seed into their ear, and I need to whisper this to you today. Friendships are more important to me than money. My relationships are more important than money. I would rather build relationships than the money. You can take the money, but when you have a good relationship, when you understand the power of the exchange, when you understand being able to listen and being able to share, and knowing that when I share something with you, when I can be transparent with you, when I can be vulnerable around you, there is nothing like that. Is so valuable. I have watched so many people would allow for $1 to get in between their relationship. And really what you're saying is this relationship is equated to that $1. And I'm willing to sell that relationship out. So I'm going to tell you now, when it comes to me and my relationships, I'm not going to sell them out for $1. I'm not giving it up. That there's not enough money in the world that's going to get me for a good relationship. So learn how to build your friendships and build relationships, which requires you to be transparent, vulnerable, and requires you to be present. I'm going to say it again. Building in strong friendships, you have to be transparent, you got to be vulnerable, and you've got to be present. When they call you and you never around, but when you call them, they're always around, that's not going to be a good friendship or relationship. It's not going to work. I'm just telling you now, because somebody's going to get depleted, they're going to get tired, and it's going to break. You got to find out what does that person need from you, and you give them what they need. And vice versa. You need to be open and transparent and say, hey, this is what I'm needing from this friendship. This is what I'm needing from this relationship, so that you can build and grow together. Some people, I've had friendships for a long period of time. Like, we've been friends since we were in elementary school or junior high, and we're still friends now. Like, I can pick up the phone and call them, and they're there. They got my back. And there's some friendships and relationships I've just built over the last few years where I feel just as close to them as I do people that I've been knowing for a long period of time. But it's because they check on me and I check on them. Now, let me sit this right here, because I had this happen, and I need to make sure that I just, I'm in my transparent moment with you all, because, I'm in the conversations relationship. But if you don't ever check on me, like never, ever call me and check on me, and then all of a sudden something happens, an event, and then you call, I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to take your call or your text. I'm going to say thank you. But don't expect me like to get up and put clothes on and go run, spend extra energy. I'm not going to do it because we don't have a relationship. We have a conversation. We have an acquaintance, an association. Big difference than friendship. The Bible tells us that if you want to have a friend, you got to learn to be friendly. And sometimes I think we forget that. Like, we wait until something happens and we be like, oh, I'm here. No, I needed you to be here beforehand when you saw it on this way. If you see me get ready to go off the cliff, please grab me and say, listen, don't go off that cliff. I see you on your way over there. Don't go off that cliff. Pull me back. Set me down. You may even bruise me in the pullback, but I'd rather take the bruise than for me to fall into death. So I'd rather be bruised on my body than to be dead. So build friendships, because whiners destroy friendships. They don't know how to keep them together. And listen, if you're a whiner, you can't hang with me. I'm a God winner. What? Okay, so distinction 3 is winners think big. Whiners think small. And you can find this out just in a mere conversation. Because if you're always thinking like small, minute, it's always drilling it down to the, it's always petty. This is really what this is saying. Whiners are petty. But winners are always thinking big. We're thinking what's going to happen next. We're planning for the next. We're always saying, okay, listen, this is what we need to be doing. This is how we need to go forward. We need to make sure that we're doing this, because when we move here, we got to make sure we're looking down the road, like 5 years, 10 years down the road. But if you always think of small steps, you always talk about, well, oh my goodness, I just came, but I don't think we need to do that. If you're thinking too small, let me tell you what happens here, because God is not a small God. God is a big God, right? And he does things big. So if you're a God winner and you are following God's principles and who God is in your life, you've got to think big. If you think it's small, you are thinking against God. I'm going to say it again, because that was a powerful statement. If you're thinking small, you're thinking against God. Your thinking is not aligned with him, because he is a big God. Let's pull in these last two that are here, and let's end it here. Distinction number 2, winners are focus-minded. Focus-minded, which means that they are able to have a laser focus on what God has called for them to do. When we are winners, we are focused on what God has called for us to do, and we're not going to deviate from it. Now, we may have some setbacks, some step backs. We may even have some meditation moments. Jesus said, can you all just, stay here for a little while I go to pray? He needed to kind of steal away, right? Because he wanted to make sure he remained focused. So you got to do whatever you've got to do to remain focused on what your assignment is in this earth. Winners, God winners, understand that we've been called with a purpose, bought with a price, and that Christ died just for us, and it's up to us to stay focused minded. You need to have a spiritual laser focused mind so that you can achieve what God has for you. But whiners, they're a little scatterbrained. And what do we mean by that is they just all over the place. The Bible tells us that. You're like children tossed to and fro. You can't be walking with God, and every time something comes on, you move by every wind and doctrine. Every time somebody says something, now you're over here. Well, I don't believe this way. Now I believe that way. That's a whiner. You can't win being scattered because you're too busy, again, being petty. I'm just going to tell you that. Messy and petty. Scatterbrained people are messy and petty. You have to make sure that you stay true to the call, stay focused, so God can use you in the places that he wants to take you. And number 1, winners create positive meanings. Whiners create negative meanings. Winners create positive. You're always positively creating things. Everything that you're doing is to create positive energy, for you to create positive opportunities, for you to create positive outcomes. Even if you're thrown lemons, you will make lemonade, lemon meringue pie, lemon drops. You will make lemon candles, lemon scent. You will take whatever's been given to you and create a positive out of it, because that's the reflection of God. The Bible says God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and there was darkness on over the face of the deep, and he spoke light. He created positive meanings. He created light out of the darkness. Now that's powerful. He created light out of the darkness. We need to learn how to create light out of the darkness, because a whiner is just going to complain. It's dark in here. I wish they would turn on the lights. I wish somebody would light a candle. I wish somebody would do something about the darkness. Well, you know what? You're just creating a whole lot of negativity and you're not moving anywhere. You've got to be like God did and create light out of darkness, speaking things into existence. Learn how to use your voice so that you can make an impact. Listen, Conversation Crew, I'm excited again about what God is doing, because we win. We are winners, and you have to remind yourself. So as I gave you those top 10 distinctions that was given to us by Keith Cameron Smith, you can check out his book if you would like to, or you can catch it on the YouTube and really break it down as he goes through it. It'll be something for you to connect with. But you want to check that out, because you want to make sure that you're lining yourself up in the way that you should go, because God is creating winners, not whiners. So listen to this. I just want you to hang out here with us at 7:45. It's going to be 1 hour of power, 1 hour of power, 7:45. And then at 10 a.m., we will have our worship experience, and that's at our Nashville location. You don't want to miss it. And if you want to give, make your tithe and get offering, that's the $ Cathedral Praise. And then Cathedral Praise and New Highway at our Memphis location. Again, you don't want to miss it. 10 a.m. worship service is going to take place on our social media and social ministry platforms. And you want to give, $ New Highway 191. We thank you all so much for everything that you do and that you say. I want to remind you that you win. This is a time for you to walk in victory. This is a time for you to stand and declare and decree and proclaim that Jesus Christ is Lord. He's Lord of our lives, and we win. Until I see you on next Sunday, remember that your voice is powerful and your voice is valuable. I want you to go out and speak life into every situation and make this a great day. See you later. Bye-bye.
Sunday morning conversation. Sunday morning inspiration. Sunday morning conversation. Sunday morning inspiration. Conversation, inspiration. Get the tools to live a life filled with purpose. Revelation, motivating conversation. This is the place to build your faith, live on purpose. Conversation, inspiration.